Okay, let's have some more fun with the SAE BAJA project, as well as Autodesk Inventor, and we're going to work on this rear toe point. And I've saved a screenshot of this figure and that one, and I'm going to see if I can pull them into Autodesk. You can see that I got my team project up here. I'm going to go ahead and use inches for this one, assuming that that's what they're going to want to do here for this one. So we're going to go over here to English and standard like that. We can select any plane that we want to, obviously, for making this tow point that's going to be welded to the back of the vehicle. So it can be towed away if it becomes disabled on the field, not able to drive back to home base, so to speak. And so what I'm going to do here is just insert one image that hopefully I can leave as part of this file, and I'll upload this into GrabCAD as well in case you'd like to take a look. All right, so here's one file I'm going to place in here, and let's see what it's got. It's got some of these dimensions in it. Just using that for reference. And you can rotate these around, I think, by grabbing this one. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. So we'll put this one over here for right now, and then we have another one that's talking about those dimensions. I don't know if this is really the best way to document all the changes that you're trying to make for a part, but I just thought it would be good, at least for this video purpose, to have these in place. So I'm gonna grab this one, turn it over like this, and you see I got a really basic shape that I need to make. So pretty straightforward. We know this one right here has to be an inch in diameter, and that's the rule right there. Looks like the radius right here. Let's see, I think they're talking about the diameter. It's, you could make it a little bit bigger if you want to. I want to make this one the minimum size. And of course, you could resize this one if you needed to. Okay, then of course we have a line down here, horizontal line. And we have another one going up this direction. And then I hit escape, do another one up this direction. And then what we can do is grab an arc. And I guess it needs to have the center. Um, hmm. Yeah, it doesn't need to have the center as the same as this one. So then we can start it here and then go over to there. And, we can make it purposefully wrong. That way we know that when we get it done here, everything's going to be accurate as far as these two lines right here being equal to each other. So we'll say this is equal to that. And also we can connect these points right here. And this one right here. We want to make sure we get it fully defined. And I guess so what we want to do here is probably make these tangent. Let's see if that's going to make more of the sketch defined there and there. Okay, it looks a little bit more like what we're talking about here. But it looks like the radius is kind of way off here. So the R distance that they're doing, they're actually calling this the edge distance, so it's a little bit different. So what we'll have to do here is talk about the dimension between this one and that one. So it's a difference between the two. Now, the minimum distance they want for that one right there is 0.625. Let's see if it makes that one look a little bit more like what we have down here. And of course, the Y value down here is going to be 3 inches. And then what else do we have here? The X value. So that's going to be going from the bottom of this one here to this one right here. And what do they want that X value to be? 7.5. Okay, now that looks weird because, yeah, I think you see that it went from the center right there, so that's not accurate. It should not have done that. But what we could do is say that that distance right there needs to be 1.75, or actually, I think it needs to be plus 0.5. And now we can see that this right here is the half of the diameter right here. And there's the rest of it. Now you can see that it looks exactly like this. Okay, let's see if there's anything else as far as the constraints go. See, this one says 8, wow, 8 dimensions needed. I was not expecting that. It's probably the fact that it needs to be centered. So let's see what kind of unknowns it has here. Oh, all the unknowns are about my diagram. So goodness. Okay, so I guess I didn't expect that to happen. We could, just for fun, put make that fully constrained as well. And the way that you would do that is you would say, let's just anchor the bottom corners of these, this, that, and you can see it went down to 4 dimensions. And then all you got to do now, I think, is just give 1 dimension along this axis and 1 dimension this way. And I could be wrong on all of that because it looks like it still has 2 dimensions. So I wonder if it's this one that needs also. Nope. It's probably something about the rotation. So what we can do is say that this right here is along that axis and that axis. Look at that, fully constrained, and I have my documentation in there as well. Okay, actually it could, yeah, I don't think I can resize it now that I've got it fully defined. That's okay though, because we're really going to be focusing on this. And we'll just extrude it just by 1/4 of an inch to begin with. And then let's make sure that those images do go away. We're going to look at the actual thickness the rules require in a moment. But I just want to show you that if we go back here, you can see that documentation is now gone. But if you want to see it again, you just actually, I think you can say just visibility, and it'll probably put it back in there. Yeah, look at that. That's actually not a bad deal. So you just kind of go in here and hide it. Now let me go look in the rules and see what the actual dimensions are. So I'm going to pause the video for this to get the thickness. Okay, and so looking at the rules, it kind of implies that an 1/8 inch thick, even though this is about to swivel, we don't really want to make it swivel. In our case, I think we're just going to weld it on. Okay, so then let's go back over here to this one and edit the extrusion. And we'll just put 1/8 in there. And I guess we can select the entire material, and it says to make it out of steel. I like the brush steel look, but we'll just leave it just like that. All right, let's save this right here. I'm going to save this as 92 dash rear toe. What do they call that? Toe connector? Toe point? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, and then for our people that want to use a different application other than Autodesk Inventor, let's save this as, I don't think that's the way to save it. Okay, we're going to try to save it as a step file for other folks. Okay, hover over here. Let's try it this way instead. STEP, and we will put that right in the same folder for now, like so. I'm going to pause the video and show you how I'm going to put this in GrabCAD. And then we're also going to see if we can price the part by sending it to Send Cut Send and then also hubs.com just to see what outrageous price they're going to charge for something like this. All right, pause the video for a moment. And you can see we already got the one model in here of the very basic engine right here. Not exact measurements, but an approximate for at least good for building renderings and figuring out if there's any kind of intersections or I guess obstructions that causing the engine not to be able to go in. I'm starting to use this drive now for my projects so that I can share this from various locations where we work. And the files we want to get is this one right here and that one right there. Open. And of course, we're going to call this rear toe point. Let's see. I guess I can put the video that I'm making right here as well. Okay, I wonder if I can also put an image in there so that it can show up. So let me try that. If I go down here and say um, visibility like this and do this kind of thing, maybe look at the front. No, that's not it. What if I save a screenshot of that, if it would be helpful? So making a screenshot, and I'm going to save that to my desktop. B8, and let's see if that works. I'm gonna pause the video. Okay, so now you can see I have it in GrabCAD. Here's our channel, sfasu.baja.sae-1, or you can just Google that. And here is the toe point right here. Pretty simple point part, of course. I think these are going to show up later once it begins to process the IPT file as well as the what is it called? The step file. Now let's go over here to hubs.com to see if we can price this part. Hubs.com. I go in here and get an instant quote. See if I can sign in. I'll pause the video so I can get through the sign in process. Okay, so I'm just going to try to start this new quote and let's see what kind of file types it accepts. I'm imagining that it's going to do, let's see, a step file. Oh, it takes IPT files. So we'll go and select that file. And if I were to guess, it's going to be way overpriced. But I could be wrong. Okay, so this one right here. Okay, and they don't contain any of those. And then I'll pause the video while I build in a quote, and then I'll make sure that I change the material. I think the default is set to aluminum, but I'll change the material. Be back in a moment. So look at this error right here. It's probably because of the image I put in there, which was non-standard, but I just thought it was an interesting way to do that. So let me go see if that's the problem by saving it without those images in the part file. You can see that the CNC machining, they default here to aluminum, and the price kind of depends on how fast you want it delivered. Let's see if I can change the material now. Okay, and you can see here that I changed it to mild steel, 1018, and get a 136 price on that one. So we'll stop right there for a moment. We'll try this other resource for making parts called Send Cut Send. I think I have a login for this one as well. So let me get to that part and let's get a example price. Okay, you can see a couple of example files we've uploaded just to get some prices. This one doesn't look like it allows IPT files from Inventor. So we're just going to get the step file. And let's see how much it's going to cost here. Yeah, let me do a couple more details here. Looks like it's 130, kind of comparable to hubs.com so far. And so if we look at metals, steel, we can look for that 1018 again. Let's see where to go. I think that's what they were suggesting for most of these. For the mild steel, may not have what we're looking for. Let's see what else we can come up with. One of the things that the rules mentions is 4130, and we want it to be 1/8 of an inch thick. And if we want two of them, wait, is it really that cheap? No way. That's really good. So maybe we should do a lot of our parts this way, and we can get two of them if we're working on two vehicles. And I think you can get like a discount if you do more. So here you see it's $10. If you do more, you get discount on those. So much better at what we're looking for here as far as pricing goes compared to hubs.com. All right, so let's just save this one to our cart for later. This, or is it already in our cart? We go back to this and then back over here. Yeah, okay, so it's in our cart. It's kind of nice. I was surprised that it was not that much. That might means we might be able to use that for some of the other mounting brackets that we have and that we're currently looking for. Okay, there was another source that recommended, but I don't think that I've been able to find um, this particular size anywhere. So I'm going to stop right here and just kind of look around and see if I can find anything. Okay, this is another option. I went to McMaster.com and typed in this, and I selected 4130. You can see for a 1 foot by 1 foot sheet of material, this 1/8 inch thick is $66. So you could do this and cut yourself. I'm going to see if there's actually tabs that can go along with this or to go in place of this so you don't have to cut it yourself. And finally, you can go just look for steel tabs 1/8 inch thick. And you'll find a lot of them here, but I don't think any of them will be 1 inch in diameter holes out here at the end. But if you do find those, please let me know. Leave a comment in the chat under this video. Hope this helped you not only see how to use some of the resources, but also how to find ways to get the parts for the SAE Baja vehicle. I'll see you in the next video.